All right, thanks for being here. Obviously, coming off a frustrating day in Provo, give a ton of credit to Coach Sataki and that team and his coaching staff. They've got a good football team, and unfortunately, we didn't play well enough to win. And so we're hard at work fixing those things. Whatever they are, schematically or with our personnel. We had a good practice today, and I'm excited about this week. I'm excited about this opportunity that's ahead of us. Obviously, we're playing a really good Colorado team. They're well coached. They've got good players. They've got talent everywhere. They play hard. And so this is obviously a huge game for us. It's homecoming. We've got 300 football players coming back, or football alumni coming back, and then obviously all kinds of alumni coming back. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere here for game day, for this game. And I think when you think about all the good stuff that's happening with in terms of the support we're getting, the Zona Zoo sold out faster than it's ever sold out, and I think we have a chance to make Saturday's game a rocking, fun, exciting atmosphere for a hell of a football game.
We'll start with Justin. So at the halfway point of the season, what are some things that you think are issues that need to be addressed, and what are some things that give you some optimism?
I think the thing I love about this team is that they just keep playing. They play hard, and they play for each other. And I was optimistic about how we were on third down in that last game, because that had been not consistently where we want it to be. I think we converted 11 of them. I think we're offensively doing a good job moving the football. Obviously, we have to finish those drives to beat anybody good in this conference. You can't kick field goals every time you're down there in the plus 30, plus 25 space. Defensively, I think those guys continue to improve. They continue to make adjustments. I loved how they kept playing. Genesis punching that ball out late. There's just a lot of really good stuff on that film. And so we're focusing on that, and we're cleaning up the stuff that's not quite where we want it to be.
Do you think Noah Fafita is trying to do too much at times?
That's a tough question, because all he wants to do is play for the guys he's out there with. I think for us, we got to do a better job of putting him in the right spot all the time. I think we can help him with that. And he cares so much. He works so hard. His preparation is more thorough than any player I've ever been around. And so, we got to put him in the right spot and give him a chance to make the plays he's capable of making.
David? Kind of a follow-up on that one, Brent. In two of the interceptions he's thrown in the end zone, the one at Kansas State, the one at BYU, the receivers looked like they were waiting for the ball to come to them, and the defender jumped it. Do you want to see your wide receivers be more aggressive to the ball in those instances?
So that one on Saturday was a little bit of a funny, like the coverage, the corner, kind of played catch technique on Montana. I think the issue, that ball was being thrown to Kean, and Kean was open. Where Montana took so much collision, we didn't have good spacing on it because of the collision Montana took, and the corner dropped him, right? And then right as Noah's making the throw, he takes a big shot, right? And so that ball sailed on him. And then the flip side of that is I think that safety made a hell of a football play. It was an incredible football play. So I give that kid credit too.
In that 2nd and 1 sequence there where you had 1 yard to get on 3 plays and didn't get it, how did you evaluate that?
We thought that we didn't block it. We got beat at the point of attack a couple times there, which was disappointing. And then I think also for us, that's saying, because they were standing there with 9 guys on the line of scrimmage, and blocking 9 people is hard. And so I think that's something that we can come up with a little bit more variation out of that formation, because it's been a good formation for us this year. So we're still working on it.
Jen?
2 questions. First, halfway through the season, what would you say is this team's identity?
I think in some ways we're still finding that. I think when you turn on the tape, we play hard, which I love. And I think that, if you don't have that, you're dead. So I like where we're at in terms of our effort. And I think, right now, that's what we have to hang our hat on.
And then also, it's happened in a couple of games now where the first drive is really efficient, march right down the field and score a touchdown, and then it just kind of, the wheels fall off after that. Why do you think that you guys are struggling after that initial first drive?
I think that has more to do with that space that we struggled in, and the plus 30 going in. It's because we only punted one time in that game. We had 25 first downs. So like there was good production there offensively. I think that's what's the thing that we're as a staff working on is what are we going to do? What's our best stuff, right, when we get to that spot in the field?
Jason? You talked about the atmosphere that you might see this coming Saturday. Coach Prime certainly brings to that. Certainly there's a very stark difference in personalities. Have you ever met him? And if so, how well do you know him?
So I've met him a couple times. He's an awesome guy. He's really a nice guy. He's fun to talk to. He's got interesting perspectives on everything. I've hung out with him a little bit at the Big 12 meetings, and then also at the media day. But he's a really good dude. Obviously, he's done a great job for that program there. I think it's really cool to see them, making the move they're making.
And also, follow up, just your thoughts on Travis Hunter. We don't know his condition, so I'm not asking really about that, but just in general, how impressed are you with what he's been able to do on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I've been impressed with him for years now. I think his impact of the game, his ability to impact both sides of the ball is incredible. And so, I think that's one of those challenges when you're playing this team is that he's on the field.
Jason, sure.
How much does your play calling change once you get into that red area, even if the 30 on?
I mean, I think the thing that changes it a little bit is just that you're capped vertically. You know what I mean? So any type of route concept where you're trying to control safeties or people on the third level, can be a little bit more challenging because they're not worried about someone running by them for a 60-yard run or a 60-yard ball. You know what I mean? So it definitely changes a little bit. And, I think, not so much the 30, but I also think like a lot of defenses will change once you get into that red zone. They'll play things a little bit differently.
And then we saw some RPO. Noah had the nice run against BYU. Is that something you want to see more of with him running, or is that just kind of what the game plan called for?
It just depends on what, trying to take advantage of how the defense is playing us.
Another Noah question. For you last year, his average time to throw was 2.55 seconds. This year, it's over 3 seconds. I think coaches like to get the ball out under 3 seconds if possible. So
Sure.
What does that indicate to you that number is up like that?
I think there's lots of parts to that. I think some of that can be the concepts that we're running require a little bit more time to develop. But we're focused on trying to get the ball out of his hand because he has taken too many hits, and we need to protect him because he's a great player and he's the leader of our team, and we need to take better care of him.
David?
When you were asked the identity question after game 3, you kind of gave a similar answer, still trying to figure that out. There were some that heard that and thought, well, you should know after 3 games what the identity of this team is. Do you think at 6 games you should know what the identity of this team is?
I don't know. I think, yeah, I would like to. I think because we've, stalled out in the red zone, there's been games where we've run the ball really effectively, and then there's been games where we've thrown it effectively, you know what I mean, that way. I think the players are playing their tails off. And I think any challenges that we're having in terms of getting the outcomes we desire is on the coaching staff, and we have to fix those things.
How did you feel about Cam Kaiwe and how he came in from not even playing?
Who?
Cam Kaiwe.
Conwello.
Oh,
Come on.
oh, okay. I was like, I haven't heard anyone call him Cam. I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a really good job, and I think he's a young player who's going to just keep getting better. I think we're excited about Kama, and he's going to be a lot of fun.
Justin?
How much do you think injuries are impacting your secondary? What did you think about the guys who were able to get in?
I think those guys are fighting their tails off, and I think it's, when I think the challenge of, with some of those guys that aren't available or weren't available last weekend is just they have so many reps, right? And they're team captains and they're leaders and they've seen so much in their careers, but I'm excited about how Genesis is playing and Owen, and I think, Coach Viney and Coach Aquino have done a great job kind of, and Coach RC, like building depth there and finding guys that can help us.
Jenna?
After the game on Saturday, you talked about how this is the halfway point of the season, and it's up to you guys to decide how, what you do with the rest of the year. What have you followed up and told the guys about that this week, and kind of how does that influence the mindset going into this Colorado game?
Well, I think, in football, you have to be in 1 week seasons, like you have to be focused on just this next thing. And it doesn't do anything for us to be looking backwards. We have to be mindful about what's ahead and what's coming. And so, for our team, just the messaging has been, a year ago, this team was 3-3, right? Which is where we sit today. And the only difference between those things is how we feel about it, because of the expectations going into the season, right? Like all that stuff. And so now all of a sudden it feels worse, right? And the good news is we have 6 opportunities left to play. Like we have so much football left to play. And if we'll just focus on right now and the work that's required to give yourselves a chance to get the outcome you want, that's where we need to be.
Last question, Mike.
What is your message to the fans who are impatient, frustrated, et cetera?
I hear you. Like, I hear you. Like, I'm frustrated too. The reality is no one wants to win games more than I do. And so I understand. And that's the nature of college football. And the truth is that we didn't play well enough to win the last 2 weeks, and we have to fix that. And it's my job to fix it.